Hey guys, how you doing? We are out here on another amazing Sunday day out here in LA and working on the Land Rover before we get some rain coming in here. Want to try to get this thing built as quickly as possible, and it's moving along really well actually. This is sort of stage 2 of the build. Stage 1 being get it up and running, and we did that by changing the transfer control module. As you know, it was not in running condition. It would not go into gear. It would grind going back into park. And it was kind of scary because everybody that the previous owner had gone to was told that he needed to go get a new transmission. So I ran the gap diagnostic on it, and it said it lost communication with the transfer control module. So I checked that out, and of course all the corrosion and water had burned it out. Got it changed for 150 bucks, and she's running amazingly. I mean amazingly smooth. This was a city driver, one original owner, 150,000 miles, and good lord, if we could get the control arms on that to be as tight as this, well, that's one of the things that needs to be not on there, the new poly bushings on that rig, because it's wandering. It also needs a new steering rack and a bunch of other work, so we'll eventually get to that. But right now we're going to be focusing on this, and as we mentioned before, we're going to be building another trailer to tow behind this thing. So what do we got going now? Well, last week we put on the Smittybilt bumper. It's an XRC we got for 100 bucks on OfferUp, and I know that rubs a bunch of people the wrong way, but $1,500 on an ARB or whatever other company makes it for this thing is just too much. Also a lot of weight. We need to save that money for mechanical stuff that is guaranteed to go wrong with this thing. So this gives us the opportunity to have a strong bumper for super cheap. I had some extra steel lying around, so I welded new mounts for this thing to go directly to the frame rails, so it's solid, it's on there. Ordered a XRC Stinger bumper, and I'm going to be fabbing some pre-runner type wings for this to extend to the fender well, so that should be coming on Tuesday. Hopefully that'll look really good. I mean, it's got the same paint job, which I'm not necessarily a fan of, but you know, it's tough as nails. The only other problem is, which I'll show you later, is that we got another bumper for the rear, and it's not a Smittybilt, so it does not have that paint scheme. So we might either smooth that out or just paint it in a flatter black so it doesn't reflect as much, so it'll look a little bit more uniform with the rear bumper. But anyways, so that is the front bumper. Hopefully we'll get a winch pretty soon. The other thing is we got some tires, monstrous tires. We got some used trail grapplers with some rims, but those aren't the rims that are going on there because those are Chevy rims. So that baby is running 33-inch tires, 1250s, and these are 295, so that's probably going to be closer, 295/70, so that's probably going to be closer to 34. And the amount of chopping that we had to do behind the fender well on that thing to get those things to fit is going to be probably more intense here. So right now Diane is running the SYA spacer hats on top of her R-knots to get the 2-inch lift. These are not. I'm going to be making some Johnson rods for this thing that are going to be adjustable so we can dial in the lift and maybe eventually put on or fabricate some hats to go on top of that for the lift, because we need to see where we're going to have to be with the spacing and fitting 34-inch tires. We got some rims, and I don't know if you saw, again, another inexpensive purchase on OfferUp. These are Works Tundra rims, so it's 150, 150, 5x150 on the bolt spacing. And because we need to run spacers anyways, I got adapters from Easy Accessory. came quick, but they're the wrong size. Those are 5 by 120 to 5 by 115. So I need to get those replaced. Otherwise, these would be on here right now, trying to get fitted. So again, it's the same thing that Diane has on her. She's got tundra rims on there. And for you guys that are wondering, there's very limited wheels that you can buy in 5 by 120 that'll carry this weight. Most of them are going to be BMW rims, and there's no way you cannot fit BMW rims on these things because it would never carry the weight of a Land Rover. 5 by 120 is Camaro as well, and it's not going to happen. So you're going to have to get adapters on it, or you're going to have to buy the Black Rhinos or the Steelies or whatever else other companies make for the Land Rover, but you're not going to get anything special. I know our buddy Wasatch Rovers also has these exact same rims that Diane has on hers. It's pretty funny because he's got a Tonga green too, with the Rockstar 2s, I believe they are, XD rims. Again, we got these super cheap with the tires for 800 bucks. KM3s. And guess what? We had to buy a spare one for that, and just that there alone cost 800 bucks. So don't be afraid to experiment. The spacers are not two-piece spacers, so they are going to be really strong. You're going to have no problem adapting the bolt pattern to fit, and that just opens up a world of rims that you can put on there. I wish I could get down to 17-inch rims. It might work with spacers, but you'd probably have to shave the caliper anyways. So anyways, that is sort of the same thing that's going to be happening on here. The only problem with these rims is because they're no longer made, I cannot find a full-size spare. So it might have to be a different rim for the full-size spare, but finding a trail grappler would be no problem because those are readily available. So right now what we're doing is removing the rear bumper and going to be fitting, eventually, it's not happening today, the same bumper that Diane has on hers. And it is a Hanson Jeep bumper again. These bumpers are 1,600 bucks, and we got it on offer up for 300. Can't beat that. It is solid. It obviously does not fit on the back of a Land Rover, so just like Diane's, required a ton of fabrication. And we're probably going to do it a little bit differently here, because essentially what happened with Diane's is all this stuff got chopped off, and we re-welded it back onto this unit here. And it's solid, but it also is set up to hold the winch in the front. Let me show you how that is right here. So instead of spending another $1,800 on a worn winch, we have these receivers that are welded directly to the bumper mount. So that's essentially a part of the frame itself. And what happens is this winch plate has two receiver hitches, so I can just unpin it. You can see how they're locked back there, and move this winch to the back. We have an Anderson plug, so we can plug it in here. We haven't wired it to the back yet because $200 for good 2-gauge wiring is, you know, pretty pricey, but it is what it is. So yeah, we probably won't do a rear mounted winch on this one because we already have another rig that has front and rear mounts. So this will probably just be a front loaded winch. So now we just got, dog's going crazy over there. Now we just got to figure out, I got to stare this down. What I want to do is get rid of those balance resonators. Those things weigh like 100 pounds. They're super heavy. And whatever, once you get your off-road tires on there, that ride's gonna screw you up anyways, so I don't think we really need those. So yeah, we have to figure out how to get this thing set up for the Hanson bumper over there. So yeah, I'm just actually staring this down a little bit, trying to figure that out. Now, the other thing is for you guys that are always pulling apart your bumpers and getting into your car, this is your friend. Why? Because spiders love to live in a Land Rover. We've got, you can see here's brown widow egg sacs. This thing was just infested with them. I love spiders, and I especially love brown widows. They're amazing, they're beautiful, they're docile, and it sucks killing them, but I mean, literally 100 a night. I've got to come under here and blow out with the propane, and it gets rid of webs really easily. You can see I still need to blow some more in there. But yeah, it's the easy way. If you guys are wondering how to get rid of spiders, this is probably one of the easiest ways to do it, but it sucks that I have to. So anyways, yeah, now the other thing is that I'm pulling off these fenders here. I hate running fender liners, so those are all coming off because it makes it so much easier to work on the suspension and other things that are back here. So yeah, these fender liners are already off. Yes, there's a bunch of exposed wires and stuff, but we're not in a super wet environment, and you know, that could cause issues, but we haven't had any issues with that one. That is not running any fender liners at all. So yeah, like I said, it makes it so much easier to work on your suspension. And what do we mean by working on suspension? Well, we did some cool stuff to Diane's here, as you can see, and it's kind of ghetto rigged with zip ties right now. That is a bypass valve. So if the compressor goes down, we have got a method to fill up the shocks. So just a little bit of background on R-Knots. If you're going to do the upgrade or you're going to change your suspension, and if you need peace of mind, R-Knots are the way to go. Why? Because that shock runs a check valve, and that check valve is set to blow at around 75 psi according to R-Knot, which means if there's a cut in the line and you're rolling down the freeway, in theory that should not ever send you down onto bump stops, in theory. Now, provided that that line may not be pressurized, it might tell the computer to lower it, which could be problematic. But if you pull the fuse on that, you should be able to get yourself out of harm's way, because once this lowers and there's no air in the system and there's no way to get air into the system, you will definitely be on bump stops for a good while. So now having these bypass valves, the bypass valves take us past the internal line, which means, again, if the compressor loses air, if the main tank loses air, we can fill these up directly into the shock itself and get out of trouble. I mean, we park in the backcountry pretty much anytime we camp, and it's miles from anything. So we are not going to get towed out, and trying to drive on bump stops is not going to be easy. We would never be able to drive on bump stops anyways, because that tire would be rubbing in the fender well. So again, making that system available to you and easy to work with around not having fender liners is awesome. Plus, if you need to do any work on the exhaust, heat shields, or anything else, not having a fender liner in there is awesome. So yeah, these babies are coming out. We're gonna have a lot of plastic recycling that we got to do. I got to take these parking sensors out of the bumper here and get those mounted on to the new bumper, same as the front, and I figure out a spare. So this build is coming along pretty quickly. I literally had this since the end of November, and we already got rims and tires on there, or well, we'll have rims and tires on there. We got the front bumper ready to go and the rear bumper ready to go, and stage 3 we'll be building a rack. I've got plans for that one. That one's I have it in my mind. I got to get it down on paper. Luckily this one we got came with the front runner rack on that, and that was kind of the you know how much those things are, so we said for $2,700 for the whole entire vehicle, that was like a no-brainer anyways. So with this one, it's going to be built completely differently. Well, I shouldn't say differently, but it's going to have some unique features, some features that I had actually put on the Avalanche. And I could show you, I can't actually physically show you, but on this windscreen here, you can see I've got, I don't know if you can see it, I've got LEDs there. I got a light bar under there, but it's under that screen, and that screen is motorized. You can see an actuator motor back there. So with the flip of the switch, that screen opens up and exposes the light bar. So I'm never gonna have yellow lenses on that. I'm never gonna have fading on that Lexan. So it's protected, and supposedly here in California, we got to keep those things covered anyways. So yeah, we're gonna do something similar to that on this. And like I said, it's in my mind. I've got to somehow figure out how to get it on to an actual fabrication and build. But we are going to be using a form of 80/20 CNC rails to build that. I use a lot of 80/20 here for this awning. As you can see here. There we go. Yeah, on the trailer build. And this is a full, let's see, it's not 270. It's probably about close to 270 because we got an awning off the back, corner piece, and goes off the front here. So it covers a good amount of the trailer. We're not putting an awning on this thing, at least not as of yet, but again, the rack is going to be made out of a version of 80/20. Super lightweight, super cheap. And hopefully, if it comes together, it's going to have a bunch of modular stuff hanging off of that. Not sure if we're going to do side packs like we did there, but we will see how it goes. So yeah, guys, that is just an update. Guys and gals, sorry. That is just an update on the 07 HSE. It is going to be fun. Haven't decided on Raptor lining it. The black looks good, but it has some paint issues. Just standard scratches, which is no problem, but we're losing a lot of clear coat up here. So, not too bad, whatever. We'll just figure out how to either touch that up, or we might do a Raptor line on it. But anyways, that is an update. I will be doing breakdowns of each and every single portion of the build that I just told you about. So I will be filming, fabricating that whole entire bumper to fit, what I'm going to be doing with the back of this bumper, getting these things cut and fit into the wheel well. This side is problematic because we got heater and AC lines right there that tend to rub on there. Filming the wings that are going on the back of this thing. So yeah, I'm going to be filming pretty much everything that is going to be done with that build, because we didn't document anything for Diane's build, and there's a lot of stuff that was on there, and I definitely learned a lot of stuff about fabrication for that particular rig. So, and then eventually, once we start building the trailer, I'll be documenting that as well. This is a 2-year-old build, I believe. Hey, this is great. Let me show you, actually, since this is an update video. This is where we sleep. A lot of room in there. We've got a diesel heater back there. We've got a movie screen that gives us 52 inches connected to a projector, so we can watch movies out in the backcountry. It's awesome. We have that as a backup heater, just in case the diesel heater goes down. And then actually for our shower unit, that comes from here, we have a tankless water heater in this unit here. And that, in the wintertime, this sees a lot of action up at Mammoth. In the snow, it's like a sauna in there with both those heaters, with this heater going. I also have a radiant heater that comes off of this, which is definitely more powerful if it gets really, really cold. But yeah, this trailer, if you guys are thinking of building a trailer, this thing took 4 months to build, 16 hours a day, if not more, just going straight, because we wanted to get it on the road. And most people that are doing their own DIY builds, you spend a couple years before they even get to take it out. So this was a quick build, and it's changed. It's still changing, but it was perfect for us. Our original build, we were sleeping inside the wheel wells, which was 4 feet. Now we're at 6 feet in there, and it's just me and my girlfriend, and it's plenty of room for us. So yeah, we'll be building another trailer for this, and so I will be documenting that as well. So you guys, thank you so much for listening to this long, rambling 20-minute video, and I really appreciate if you could share it and leave a comment below. If you have any questions regarding this build, feel free to ask, and we will keep you updated. All right, thanks a lot.